Okay, so welcome to our Brilliance Zoom. We have some training that's really, I'm excited. Liz has the training for us, and I have just a little tidbit of something that was requested on the Forever Strong International page a couple days ago. Thought we could talk about that. But I have all the prize drawings for Jam in July, so I want to congratulate everyone. I know that sometimes, whether it's July, whether it's, whatever month it is, there's challenges that come with each month. And it's been interesting as we expand internationally, it's different months that have different challenges. But it's been really fun to see everyone kind of jumping in. And I know even for myself, even just being home a couple days during the month, having these specific tasks that I knew I needed to be doing, even though I was behind on a lot of them, I would think, okay, well, I've got to get these customer contacts in. And I couldn't just let the days go by without worrying about it because I needed to get them done. Not very many of those who posted that they had done tasks actually filled out the form to claim their prizes.
I know.
I know.
So I ran out of time.
I completely understand. But this is still, I don't know if you can see this, this is still all of our entries, which is pretty amazing. There's a lot there. But I know there were a lot of people who did more. And so I guess the growth in your business is your prize. Congratulations. I have all of the prizes for the daily prizes ready to go out, and Helen was so sweet to get that list for me, and I so appreciate that. So those will go out in the mail today too. So I hope you love them, and if you have multiples, I'm probably just going to stick them together into one envelope, so I hope you don't mind. But first, we have some drawings. Number one, though, this is not a drawing, and actually I need a message from someone. Someone filled out their prize claim form or to report their price or their points, and they did have 20 points, but they didn't put their name or address on it. So if you know that your name is not Helen Robertson and you did get 20 points, because Helen, I know that you did, and I have you in here, please send me a message because you get a prize just for completing the 20. And Helen, I have a special set of wraps coming to you, and I'm trying to decide whether to send you 2 half sheets that I know you will really, really like, or 1 full sheet. So without knowing, I'm sure you have a good idea of what I'm sending. Would you prefer 2 half sheets so you have 2 designs, or 1 full sheet of something that I know you can't buy? 2 half sheets. Okay. And I will send the same to this other mystery person if she messages me and tells me who she was. But I'm sorry. Mystery person that wanted to be anonymous. But I can't send, and I'm writing down. Sorry about, I should have had someone here to write things down for me. And maybe is anyone really good at keeping notes and would mind just writing down notes of these so I can just do the drawing and you don't have to wait on my notes? Is anyone
I'll do it for you.
Okay, Jane, if you don't mind. So write Helen 20 points and I will know what that means. So, okay. So our first prize that we have off of this is a half sheet of Disney wraps. And that prize, and we have 1 entry for every point that was claimed on the form. So half sheet of Disney, to write that down, is going to RW, who happens to be Regina Williams. Okay, second prize. This is a sheet of pop star wraps. Now, a lot of these prizes are donated by the leaders within our team, the majority, in fact. We just kind of all went together. So thank you in advance to everyone who donated prizes, and we will give addresses so that they can go out to the right people rather than send to me first. Okay, SS is Sarah Simpson. We have some really neat nail files, and this, and I think we have 2 of those to give out. So TS is Tanya Sutton. Is it Tanya or Tanya? Tanya. Okay, so 1 goes to Tanya. And, Sarah Simpson. SS. Okay, we have some Jamberry chalkboard, they're just cute little things you can use in a booth. And there's 2 of those. So EH, who is Elaine Harper. Yay. Do I have a claim for the blank person who didn't put their name on here? James?
It's not Claire, is it? Did Claire fill up?
Claire?
Rollins.
She is not on my list, so do you think she has the 20 points?
It's Claire, yeah. I just thought,
this is Claire then.
I know she's done all of them.
Okay, and she was probably she was proud of it. She put exclamation points with it, but okay, so let's say that's Claire's. Okay. Yeah. And I have to admit, I never filled mine out either, but I knew I wasn't going to send myself a prize, so I didn't worry about it. All right. CH also gets a chalkboard, and that is Carly. Carly, how do you say your last name? Is it Hubby, Hooby? I don't know. Hubby? Hooby. Hubby? Okay.
Sorry, Hubie.
Hubie, okay.
Yeah.
All right, not Hugh, but who?
Hugh, as in...
Hubie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I apologize, I'm not more prepared for this. Okay. Now we had 4 different sets of wraps, and so we'll just say this is a set of wraps, and I don't know what you're getting because these are donated prizes. So HR, Helen Robertson, is getting something. And these are the last prizes, by the way, the 4. Elaine Harper is getting one. Okay, I know there's more names in there than that, and I promise I'm mixing like crazy. I'm probably remixing. Claire, she's the blank one? And last one. But actually, I do have one of the international flag, one from the Olympics, and I was thinking about putting that in, so we'll do that as our last prize. KJ is Kirsty Johnson. Did I overdraw prizes, Jane? Am I one more? Right?
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome. Was there one more prize? If I get short, I'll just pull a set of wraps out and then I'll go. Jane, you're muted, so I see you talking, but I don't know what you're saying.
Did you put in a set of wraps as my donated prize?
Yours was the pop star.
Okay, perfect. Making sure.
Yes. Okay, sorry. So do I need one more or do I not need one more? One more?
Sorry. Okay, so you've done 4 sets of wraps, and then if you're going to donate one of the Olympic wraps as the last thing, then you need one more.
Okay.
Do I need to donate any? Because I wouldn't know how to do it.
Everyone we'll talk about that later. So we have one more big thing going on in July. So if you had other prizes donated that I have not drawn for, your prizes are going for the next.
I haven't put anything in yet, so I don't know whether I had to or not. But we don't have the Disney wrap, so.
I know. Yeah, we're doing okay. Yeah, it was all on that message, but don't stress about it. We'll talk about it later. Okay. So Sarah, right? No, SS. SS is Sarah Simpson.
Cool.
So, congratulations, ladies. I promise there's more names in there, but if you don't mind sending me that list when you get a moment, Jane, that would be fantastic. Okay, I have just one little thing to talk about before we go to Liz. She has some information on recruiting, which I think is going to be fantastic. But one thing that's been coming up, and it's actually come up several different times, and I know this is not like a gigantic thing, but is how to either recruit or sell without being pushy. And that is such a universal thing that I think all women are nervous about being too pushy. You don't want to be that person that everyone avoids when you go to, go out to eat, or you go out with friends or go to a family reunion or anything like that. You don't ever want to be that one that they think, oh gosh, she's going to try and push me into something. So this is information I got years ago, and I have to say, keeping this in my head makes a gigantic difference for me. And the number one thing is, it is not pushy to ask someone a straight out question that they can answer yes or no. It is pushy to manipulate them into answering the way you want them to answer. Does that make sense? So if you are sitting, say, at a ball game, and you're flashing your nails in front of people, of course you're going to show them off, but you're constantly trying to get them to notice and you're, kind of just pushing it. And I really need somebody to book something, and I really need somebody to buy this, and I really, really need this. And and you're just trying to manipulate someone into making a decision that actually isn't what they want to do. That is pushy. It can be obnoxious, and it makes it difficult to be around, and people will avoid you. However, saying, I sell Jamberry, and I don't know if you'd be interested, but would you, I've seen your cute nails, and I thought you might be interested in a free sample. Would you like to try them out? Is not a pushy thing, because they can politely say yes or no. Does that make sense? The difference? So showcasing and offering samples, and showcasing and offering one-on-ones, and showcasing and offering your business opportunity, and realizing that it isn't about you whatsoever. Obviously, for your goals, you want people to join. You want people to buy. But realizing that you're not trying to push someone into it, and you're just saying, would you be interested? If you're is not going to be a pushy situation at all. Just yes or no. And then help them to realize that it doesn't affect your relationship with them. It doesn't change the way that you feel about them. One thing that I've used with family members particularly, because you do want to make sure you have offered, especially the Jamberry business opportunity, but you don't necessarily want it to be a pushy thing. You don't want them to feel like they need to avoid you, but you also don't want to skip anyone. Is go through and just talk to them and say, I've been doing Jamberry for this, 3 months, or I've been with this company now for the last month and a half, or the last couple years. I just wanted to check and see, would you be at all interested in information about the business opportunity? And they can say yes, or they can say no, or I don't really know, and you can answer those questions. And then just say, I would never want to push you into something that you don't want to do. I just want you to know that if in the future you ever change your mind, I would love to answer any questions that you have about it. But leave that very open. Now, if you show your samples with someone and they've tried them on and they say, oh, I kind of like this. This is cute. Then say, okay, I know you liked them. Would you be interested in purchasing a set of wraps? Would you be interested in getting some friends together to try the Jamberry? Obviously you're not saying all of these things, but you're picking one thing, and then be okay with their answer. I really like to leave that open a lot of times at the end and just say, if you ever change your mind, would you mind, letting me know? Or do you mind if I keep you on my list and I'll just check back with you in 3 or 4 months and see what you think? See if it's a better time for you. When you ask those questions that can be answered yes or no, and you accept what they say and respect them, it's not going to come across as pushy. But if you are trying to be manipulative, and you're not going to be my friend anymore if you say no, or all of my friends will host a party because I will know you love me more. Most of my close friends have never hosted parties, and that's okay. I hope that eventually they will. I really do. And I want them to know that if they ever are interested, if they ever change their mind, I would be thrilled to do a party with them. But you can say that without it being a pushy thing. Just, okay, so you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. If it ever fits in your lifestyle or whatever, if you ever think that this would be a fun thing, do you mind letting me know? Do you mind if I check back with you? And just keep that, keep it light, but realize that you can move right on to the next information or the next bit of conversation. Your relationship is not going to be affected by whether or not they're interested in your business. My relationship is not going to be affected by whether or not I shop at a specific grocery store. I might still be friends with the cashier even if I don't like their store, right? And so it's just kind of that idea of realizing that it is about them, and not, and ask those questions that they can say yes or no to. It's a business decision. It's not, if they say no, they're not interested in Jamberry, it's not because they are not friends with me or they don't like me. Does that make any sense? I think I'm kind of...
Yeah, I think going right along with that, for me, when you're talking to someone, do you talk to them only about Jamberry? And then that starts being pushy.
Right.
Because there's so much more to life. There's family and kids, and that Jamberry is only a small part of our lives. But when we are talking to people, if we keep on just bringing up Jamboree every single time we talk to them, that's pushy too.
Okay, I agree with that completely. It is something that it is a part of your life, and it's a big part of your life because any job that you're working, any business that you're building is going to be a big part of your life. It's going to come up, but it's not the only thing in your life. And I agree with that. That's very, very good. I will say being a Jamboree consultant has affected my life in a positive way, that I do, because of business, go outside of myself and make more opportunities to meet more people than I did before. And that is a business decision, but I'm not friends with them just for Jamboree. But it does make me push myself to be more of the person I want to be anyway. And so that's kind of, make sure that we're having those conversations and meeting people. But absolutely, once I've met them, I don't drop them if they're not interested in my business. And just asking straightforward, if you're really, really nervous. Okay, Claire, thank you, Helen. If you're really, really nervous that this, perhaps a question about joining, information about the business, or even purchasing, and you're just so tentative to even ask, preface it with, I don't want to be pushy at all. And so I hope that this doesn't come across pushy. I thought you might be interested in the business because you mentioned something about looking for more income for your son's schooling. Is there any chance that you're interested in taking a look at Jamboree for that? I know it's been really good for me. And so you can preface that and kind of set it up. It's a very, very gentle and soft. It's not a pushy way to ask, but that kind of sets it up that I have this to offer. I really don't want to skip you. I'd hate to to leave you hanging, or when somebody's considering joining and they've, asked you lots of questions. And I always say, do you mind if I ask you some more questions? I don't want to push you into something you're not interested in, but I also don't want to leave you hanging. I don't want to leave you waiting on me. So you just tell me if anything gets a little, if I get a little too pushy. Does that make sense? I hope. I will say it doesn't make it in, it is still hard. It's hard to ask a question that you don't know if somebody's going to say yes or no. And honestly, you just have to. Oh, we've got quite a bit of noise somewhere. Anyone know? I am wondering. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Liz. And I'm going to think. Is that
something worked?
You can always unmute yourself if I muted you and you think you don't need to be, go ahead and unmute yourself. But we'll turn this over to Liz. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say.
Okay, well, Stephanie asked me to talk a little bit about building relationships with our customers and our hostesses, and then also with recruiting. And she talked a little bit about recruiting. I want to spend quite a bit of my time talking about building relationships, because that is an important key into our recruiting. And our hostesses and our customers are a great source of recruiting. Because they know the product, they love it, they've tried it, they've seen us in action, they know how much fun it can be. So these topics really go hand in hand, and it's a fun thing to do. One thing that I found in my life is you can't have a relationship unless you interact with the people. You've got to have some sort of interaction. So to think that your customer is going to come back to you in 6 months when they haven't heard from you in a year or 6 months or whatever is not really reasonable. And there's no one right way to do it, no magic formula, but you do need to do something. You need to have contact with your hostesses before the party, during the party, and of course after the party. And the same thing with your customers. After you've met them, you need to have some sort of interaction with them. You can do it lots of different ways. You can do it calls, text messages, email blasts, comments on Facebook, whatever. And like Stephanie was talking about, don't shove Jamberry down their throat. Talk about other things, especially after your first contacts with them. One thing that I like to do is work with my hostess before the party. I ask her some specific questions. I find out the names of the people who are coming, if they're bringing kids, if they have girls, what they like to do, some things about them. So before I even get to the party, I know something about the guest. For me, that's really helpful. I like to know if they work full time. I like to know if they have girls. Just all those kind of little tidbits. How they know the hostess. So when I'm introduced to them, or I introduce myself to them at the party, I can say, "Oh, you're Sally. Jill told me about you. You work with her, don't you?" And that can start the relationship off right from the very beginning. Dale Carnegie in How to Win Friends and Influence People talks about the importance of a name. So every time I go to a party, my personal goal is to remember everybody's name. And I think it kind of takes people a little off guard at first, because I tell them when I shake their hand and introduce myself that, "Hi, I'm Liz Mayberry," I get their name. I tell them, my goal is to remember your name. So I put my hand on their shoulder and I say, "Okay, Jill." And I look at them and I think about something that will help jog my memory as to what their name is. For me, I want to call them by name during the whole party. And then I want to be able to call them by name when I run into them at the grocery store or at the park or at the school, because these people are in my community. They're around me, and I am going to run into them again, and I want to be able to remember them. So I stop them and I look at them and I get their name in my mind. And then every once in a while I'm doing my presentation, I'll just run through everybody's names and say all their names and then say, "Okay, I did it." Or I'll ask for help if I've forgotten somebody's name. So I always try to remember their name. That's your identity, and it lets them know that you care about them as a person. So the prep work with talking with the hostess beforehand and getting their names and a little bit of something about them really helps me remember their names once I put their face at the party. So, you run into somebody 6 months from now, you'll still be able to remember their name. If you start working on remembering, deciding, yes, I do know names, I can remember names, it'll be a huge help. During the party, I like to ask about their families, have a little chit chat, ask how they know the hostess if I don't know already, and those kind of things to build that relationship. Stephanie, do you remember everybody and all their details? No, I don't either. So I always, I like to get their information sheets, those contact sheets, and I'll write notes on them. I'll say, Oregon State Duck fan, or has 2 daughters that are married with little girls who live out of state, or something like that. So I can remember who they are. And then in the months that follow, I can ask them pointed questions. So how's your daughter doing? Has her little girl started school yet? Or what did you think about how the Ducks did in the hockey tournament? Just little things about them and their families that are of interest to them. So bringing in something other than Jamberry to let them know that you care about them as a person and their interests and their cares and concerns. I love to write thank you notes, and it doesn't have to be long. I think with our customers, this goes a long way. I occasionally will get a note back saying, "Thank you so much. It was so much fun to receive your note." I never get anything in the mail but bills. And so just a little something can go a long ways in building those customer relationships. And we want to have those because it's a lot easier to keep customers than to go and find new customers. Before our party, our hostess coaching is really important. Having that contact with her, letting her know what to expect, helping her through the process of inviting her friends, whether it's by email or text message or calling people or sending out postcards, helping her through that process, because it can be very daunting. Maybe she needs help with thinking of other people, so you need to go through the Franks and Beings, the same process we do in finding contacts, helping her find people who she can invite to her party, and then following up with them. Let her know that you're there for her to help her through and to make hosting a party or having a girls' night as easy as possible.
Do you mind if I jump in here? Something that's worked really well for me. I like to send my invitations for my hostesses whenever possible. First off, I know it happens is the biggest thing. If we've sent the invitations, the party's not going to cancel. But I will ask her for her invitation list of anyone. Obviously, she's going to have some that she hands out or people that she texts and that type of thing. But for those who we can mail, I have all of their contact information. And I will also tell her if she would like me to, I will call and, send a reminder call out basically for just before the party starts. But when we go through and mail those invitations, I asked her if you'd like me to hold on to that list. And she will generally say yes, that's just fine. I print them off as labels. And then it's very, very easy to go through when we book another party. And I say, okay, I've got your list from last time. Is there anyone you'd like to add? Is there anyone that has moved? We need to change these addresses. And so I've done multiple parties with the same hostess several times. And all I go in is print and I say, Rosie's, invitation list, here we are, change those couple labels. And it is so easy for her to book another party. And when all she has to put into it is 10 minutes of phone time with me and the whole thing is going and she knows she gets free stuff, it goes really, really quick. And she feels like I've just made her job so easy. And
for follow-up, people who didn't come,
oh yeah,
you have information. It's like
wonderful. Yeah. Not all hostesses are willing to work that way. Some that's just not their personality, they will not. But for those who will, I would say it's about a third of my hostesses that will go that route, and it's wonderful. So.
And Helen, have you looked at the print shop? Do you have the postcards that you can print off or use?
Sorry, I wasn't listening then. I'm sort of distracted by my husband.
Jamberry has great postcards. Have you, in the UK, have you used those?
Yeah, do you remember I bought some from you when you came here? God, that seems really loud with that earphone on. Oh. I've been using them. I've been using the thank you postcards, send them out to everybody. I haven't bought anything from Print Shop because the shipping's a bit horrendous for us, to be fair. But I have bought some little thank you cards. They actually look like wedding cards, to be fair. They're just white with silver writing and it just says thank you, and I write them in there. But I send them to everybody. If anybody requests information about joining and things like that, I always put a little thank you card in and a little message inside just saying thank you. Any questions, just drop me a message, and then I put all my details. Like I use stickers and I put them on the back.
Do you have?
You can fit like wraps in there as well, so it's perfect because they come with an envelope. So that's what I use.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Thank you notes that Lucy has. She sent the combo swap, and her thank you cards are so cute, and they just look so professional. No, I didn't know. I don't think they're Jamberry. I don't think they're official Jamberry, but they were. I want to copy them completely. I love them.
Yeah, I'll just show you. Hang on, can you send
this? Gray and white with the chevron. Is that?
Hold on, Tanya sent me a little thank you for inspiring her in my team.
Oh.
And this is what she did.
Oh,
yeah. And then obviously she's done it like that. So she's printed these off herself. She's got them off the Jamberry page.
Yeah.
Just printed them off and wrote them, and obviously she just sent a little.
That's so sweet. Don't it mean so much? I know it means so much to me.
I've got yours here as well that you sent me, still in the packet. I don't need to.
Oh.
Keeping them all.
Notice that Helen's hung on to those.
Mhm.
Those little things make a huge, huge deal in our lives.
And I've got
those
here from my lady I signed up in America.
There you go.
And I always think if it means that much to me that I put it up above my desk so I can look at it, how much does it mean to my customers? I know it means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
We're at 5 minutes. So
okay. So, let's see. Let me look here. Okay. Well, what we'll do, I'll just talk a little bit about recruiting. We have a ton of resources. We have tons on our workstation. I love the Working with Bed Sitters talk with, I think it was Belinda, maybe. Oh, I can't remember. But it's
Jennifer, yeah.
Oh, Jennifer, yeah, that's right, Jennifer Harmon. And Belinda has one that's a recruiting talk. And there's a video with Holly Ennis that talks about the different parts of a recruiting talk. So we have tons of resources. And that's on the website itself. And then we also have Jamberry University that has a whole series of clips on recruiting. Stephanie talked a little bit about this, about coming from a place of service. You have to figure out what they're interested in, why they would even want to join Jamberry. If you talk money to somebody and they aren't interested in joining Jamberry for money, they're going to turn you out. But if you talk to them about how they can have adult conversation with somebody older than 3 on a regular basis, that may be of real interest to somebody who's a mother of toddlers. You have to find out what their why would be. Come from that place, once again, of love and service, where you want to know what their problem is first, so you can have the Jamberry solution for them. So it kind of reframes your recruiting talk. What is of interest to them? Why would they want to join? And then you tailor your talk. You need to kind of adapt. In past trainings, Stephanie's talked about the DISC personality test. You can go and look through that and find out some information on that, on how to kind of tailor your message to different personality styles. But once again, finding out what their why is probably the most important. There's a little acronym for you to remember. PAS, the problem. You got to find out what the problem is. They want to talk with adults. If they need more money to pay for ball uniforms or whatever it is, find out what the problem is, because then you have the S, which is the solution. I think I said PAS, PSA, problem, solution, ask. So you've got their problem. You can identify your solution. You know what your opportunity is and how to tailor it, and then ask. Stephanie pointed out, ask a yes or no question. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't be manipulative. Ask a straightforward question. Are you interested in joining? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you? And sometimes that's kind of an icebreaker to ask that on a scale. And then you could know, okay, well, if there are 6 or higher, maybe that's something you can work with. But if there are 2, save your time and their time. And then check with them in 6 months. Say, now's not a really good time for you. I can tell that you're super busy. Would it be all right if I checked with you in 6 months? People's lives typically go through huge changes every 6 months. And so it's a no right now, but maybe it'll be a yes in 6 months. Rachel Hughes, is that how you say her last name?
Hughes.
Okay. She did a statement in one of her trainings. She says, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if you don't ask, someone else will. So you need to own it, and you don't be wishy-washy. It's your business. You can own it and say, would you like to join my team? I would love to have you. You've got sunken personality. But give them a compliment. Tell them why you think they would be great at it. And then encourage them. Don't just say, maybe if you feel like it, would you ever want to do this? You don't own your business if you ask like that. Be strong and affirmative. Do your power pose before you go in to talk with them. No, I'm just kidding. But there's lots of different things that you can do. I see that we have less than a minute.
Yeah.
Questions, comments? Stephanie, I'll turn it back over to you.
This was really good. I love the comment about it's a compliment. Tell them why you're sharing this with them, why you think they'd be good at it, and even if the answer is no, you've still paid them a huge compliment. And
Can I
everyone,
just say one thing?
yes, very nice.
Get excited about the business as well. Be absolutely excite people about the business opportunity. If you're excited about it, they get excited about it.
Very true. And sometimes that's hard. We start to be nervous and we forget, and then we focus. But you'll be nervous if you're focusing on yourself. You won't be nervous if you're focusing on them. So wonderful. Let's post all of our takeaways on Training to Brilliance, and thank you so much. And we'll get prizes right out. So I'm excited. Thanks.
Good to see everybody.
I'll message you, Helen, since it seems like we missed that.